Welcome to Bar Chat. That's where it's at.
I'm Lexi.
I'm Bianca.
And I'm Becca.
And we're chatting all things dance. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing periods as a dancer.
If you can't tell, we're wearing red.
Yep.
Yes. And if you're listening, they clearly can't tell, but we are wearing red. Me and Becca actually were talking about this in the car, and before we get into the period thing, we wanted to quickly let them know what we were up to today. The three of us took a dance class together.
Yes, we did.
And it was super exciting because all three of us are dancers and we've never danced together before. So it was super cool just being able to dance together in a class. And I was saying this to Becca, but I thought it was really interesting how all three of us were doing the choreography so well, but so different. Like we all have our own styles when we were doing the dance. And I just thought it was so interesting how our body interprets the dance, because obviously we were doing the dance differently than the choreographer.
Yeah.
And we were doing it differently than each other. None of it was wrong, but I just thought that was really interesting as I was watching all of us dance today.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Did you enjoy the class?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, we love the teacher.
How are you feeling? She has a sunburn.
I have a really bad sunburn. It's as red as my shirt, actually. All of our shirts.
So periods. Speaking of periods, I'm on mine right now. We're going to really get some TMI right now. But yeah, I'm on my period right now.
I mean, it's a period episode. They're going to get TMI.
Yeah, this entire
I had
episode
mine 2
is
weeks
TMI.
ago.
So periods as a dancer is a whole different can of worms, I feel like. I have shared a lot on my TikTok page about periods, as a lot of you know.
Yeah, they're my favorites.
Yeah. And they tend to do really well, I think, because it's relatable to a lot of people.
And a lot of people don't talk about them. Like, you're the first dance creator that I've ever heard talk about periods.
Yeah. I mean, I guess on TikTok, me as well. Like, I haven't heard many people discuss
as a
that.
dancer, because I do make a lot of period TikToks, but they're not dance related.
But it's pretty taboo, periods.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything could be like, like they're all things that girls experience when they're getting their periods.
Right.
But so many people are afraid to talk about it because they're like, ew, that's gross. Or like growing up, they would like sneak the period, like their tampons.
I've made
up their
TikToks
sleeves
about that.
and stuff.
When you're leaving
like
class,
I have to do that.
I still feel like I have to do that too.
No, I feel like now I just like, I'm on my period. Like,
I think it's becoming
the
more
crinkly
normalized.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Yeah. I think it's more normalized now to just kind of accept that it's a natural bodily function and it's not something to be embarrassed about because, one, we can't control it and it's just part of life. So I don't think dancers need to be ashamed about periods. I think that it is what it is at the end of the day.
I mean, I can't count the amount of times I or one of my classmates have had like period blood on their ballet tights.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst.
I mean, we wear tight clothes as dancers and it's going to happen, especially growing up in dance and you're learning about your period when it comes and stuff.
Right.
It's obviously going to be hard to deal with.
Yeah.
And not even just the period itself, like all the side effects that come with it.
And also
like the cramps.
Age. Some people get their periods
that's another thing.
Than other girls or people that menstruate. So it's just.
So when did you get your period?
Well, I got mine later, but I know a lot of people that got theirs like in second grade even. There was this one girl
I know people too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so I think knowing how to deal with it from a young age is really important. And I don't think it's talked about as when I had dance teachers growing up, I never got, any sort of encouragement from them or like, this is okay. If it happens during class, you can go to the bathroom. They never said any of that. It was just like, well, we'll talk about that. But
wait, so I want to know what age you got your period.
Okay, so we'll start there.
Yeah.
So I believe I was a freshman in high school. So I was probably,
that's late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that my mom got hers even later than that.
Really?
It was like 16 or 17, but I was about 14 or 15. But a lot of my friends had already gotten theirs at that point. But yeah, I got mine freshman year of high school and it was kind of just like, okay, cool. Like it's finally here, whatever. And that was it. I don't think I had any side effects or like PMS before because it was the first one.
Right.
It was just like, what
do
is
you
that?
get bad periods?
I do. I always have. I have really long, heavy and painful periods.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little bit less so as I've gotten older, but when I was in high school, it was awful, like seriously excruciating. I had to stay home from school many times and dance. And it was just, it was a lot.
Not fun.
Wow.
Yeah. What age did you get yours, Becca?
I got mine at I think I was 12 or 13.
Mhm.
I don't recall. I remember it was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
But I've always had really, really light periods.
Uh-huh.
But I was saying the other day, and I've said to both of you, I recently got an IUD,
Mhm.
which it's a non-hormonal IUD, but the only side effect is that it worsens your period.
Oh.
So
I
I
didn't
feel
know that.
like, yeah, I got it a few
What a
months
great
ago.
side effect.
I know. Well, it's fine because my periods are so light. It's such a flex. It very much is.
I'm
That
jealous.
I barely bled, but now I feel like I'm bleeding a normal amount, like
Right.
just as normal as everyone else bleeds. Like it's not bad by any means,
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm 12 years old again.
Oh.
Like I keep having issues where I'm like bleeding through and stuff, and I'm like, I never had to learn these lessons until
Right.
now. Like
You're like, this is what it's like to have a
yeah,
period.
no, I literally feel like I'm 12 again. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is crazy.
Rediscovering it.
Like
Yeah.
retraining your brain.
And like
yeah.
getting cramps and stuff. Like I never experienced any of
Oh.
that.
Yeah. Lexi,
Welcome to the club.
when did you get your period?
So I was the same. I got mine this summer going into 7th grade.
Wow.
And funny story, I actually didn't know that periods lasted a week. I thought that they were a day.
Oh.
I thought it was one day a month. So
Wow.
the second day of my period, I remember like freaking out to my mom because I was like, what is going on with me? Like
Yeah.
I'm broken. And she was like, no, that's normal. And I was like, you're kidding. Like I have to do this for an entire week, a month. It was that was awful.
Yeah.
I was so sad finding that out. But yeah, going into 7th grade, that I think that was like a pretty normal time. Most people were getting it around that time, but I have friends who got it like super early, like 2nd, 3rd grade. And then I also
Yeah.
have friends who got it like 9th or 10th grade. So everyone is different. Like it
Yeah.
happens when it happens per person, you know, like
Right.
it's,
And
yeah.
are yours bad?
I'd say mine are average. I don't think that like they're super heavy. I don't think that they're super light, but they're not fun.
Yeah.
I could tell
Yeah.
you that.
No, periods are just not fun.
Yeah.
Period.
Period.
You know, like,
But I do want to ask you guys. So I assume you guys all use tampons.
no.
You don't.
No, I
Really?
don't.
I feel like you told me that.
I was gonna ask what age you guys started using them, but okay.
So this is actually another whole thing is like, I think as a dancer, most
You're
people would,
forced to. You have to.
well, I don't. I think that tampons are awful and I don't like them and I've never used them. I've used a tampon probably 3 or 4 times in my entire life and
Wow.
I hated it genuinely. And so me having heavy periods, it was kind of like, okay, and I don't wear tampons, so it was tricky to figure out how to navigate, but luckily I was able to figure out how to form the pad to fit whatever I was wearing with a
Right.
leotard. And then I would sometimes wear like shorts to cover up or if I was able to.
What about a bathing suit?
I've never experienced my period like at the beach or at the pool.
You are lucky.
I've just kind of gotten
Knock on
by.
wood.
Yeah.
Don't jinx
But
it.
what I was going to say is as a dancer, like there's a lot of different options that people are comfortable with.
Yeah.
But a lot of younger girls are not going to be inclined
No.
to use a tampon because that's not, you know, it just doesn't make sense
Right.
for a younger person. So pads are okay. Pads are okay. And I think that dance teachers need to be more like nurturing and understanding, especially dance teachers that menstruate, because I had a bad experience with mine. We'll get into
Right.
that.
You can
But
tell that story right now. Actually,
Yeah.
that's a good segue.
well, we'll talk about it. But
Yeah.
this is just something that I want to tail off
Yeah.
is that whether you use a Diva cup, tampons, pads, like whatever your preferred method is, I think that should be allowed and accepted and okay.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if you need to wear cover ups or warm ups and dance, that should be okay. Because I had a teacher where I got my period in college one day and it was very unexpected. I, for some reason, it was like 3 days early. And it started bleeding onto my pink tights in dance class.
Not
and
the pink tights.
Yeah, the pink
That
tights.
is the worst.
And I'll tell you that my dance teacher did not allow any warm-ups in class. It was black leotard and pink tights only. That was it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And
yeah,
that
my studio too.
on period. Like there was no exceptions. Doesn't matter. And we were already about 25, 30 minutes in class. And I looked down and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so bad. And I have another hour in here. We had a male pianist playing our music and I was just full of a bunch of other people. So
Right.
that's embarrassing.
yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself and I'm like, okay, I have stuff with me to go to the bathroom really quick. I'm going to go ask my teacher, who's a female. You'd think she would understand. No. I walk up to her and I say, hi, I'm really sorry to do this right now, but I just got my period. Can I go run to the bathroom to go fix this issue? It's on my tights. And I showed her and she just looked at me in the face and she said, no, you can't do that.
What?
No, you can't do that. And
I am speechless.
And that really actually hurt me because
wait, you're joking. What?
How can you deny somebody the right to go to the bathroom, right? That was a policy at my school as well, that you can't go to the bathroom during class.
It counts as an absence,
It counts as an absence.
What?
Yes. So if you had a UTI or a stomach issue or anything, you cannot leave the classroom during class. It's
I cannot
borderline
this
like
right now.
Not okay.
What?
So she said, no, you can't. And I said, oh, I'm like thinking the wheels are turning. And I'm like, can I go put on a warm up? Like I have a skirt with me. Can I just wear one of those sheer black skirts to hide it for the next hour? And she said, no, if you want to do that, you can take the absence for the day.
So what did you do?
So at that point, I said, I'm already here and everybody's already seen it. So I have really no choice but to go through the class with the blood on my tights. And I did.
She saw it though.
I know. And we were
what did your classmates say?
I kind of said it off to the side. I think
did
they
they
heard.
notice?
My friend was in the class and she heard and everyone was just kind of like,
that's so uncomfortable,
first of all,
unprofessional.
It's embarrassing, it's dehumanizing, and it's unsanitary for me and for others.
Not that like this matters, but was it like early or late in the semester? Like how long?
It was later. It was way later in the semester.
That's actually a really good point because they're stricter in the beginning.
Yeah.
They were even stricter towards the end. And
but also like how much time you had left with her. That's also what I was curious about.
A whole
but
year.
Regardless, like that's awful.
I know. And so I went through the whole class with that situation.
And as a woman.
Yeah, but we finish. And then I'm getting my stuff together at the end of class. And she looks at me and she has another comment. She goes, good fight, Bianca. As if to say, wow, you really decided to stay through class and struggle with your blood on your tights and you fought me for it. Good job. And I didn't say anything and I just walked out. And do you know what else? Want to know the best part?
Do I?
She did it to a lot of other girls at my school.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it wasn't just me.
I'm sorry I'm not saying anything, but if you're on the video, my jaw is dropped. I'm literally speechless.
Yeah, it happened to other girls at my school and we all talked about it. And looking back, I probably should have said something, but I think I was genuinely shocked that even
It's so hard to, as a student, to stand up to a teacher.
Yeah.
Because no matter if you're in the right, they will not let you be.
I know. So that sticks with me to this day. And if I could say anything, it's like, if you're a teacher listening, please listen to your students and allow them the right to go to the bathroom during class, whether it's a period or not, because that's a human right.
It is.
And it's a necessity. If you have to go to the bathroom, you have to go to the bathroom and you shouldn't have any sort of repercussion for going to the bathroom. Becca, what are your stories?
I don't think we can follow that.
I cannot.
Wait, how old? Like what year were you in college?
I was a senior. I was 20 or 21.
The podcast is done now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Fun, right?
Do you know if she still works at the school?
No.
I don't.
No, she does not.
Oh, Becca knows.
I do know.
That is so awful.
Yeah, it really actually is awful. Yeah.
I'm like shocked. Did you make a TikTok about this?
I
feel
did.
like
Yes.
I've like somewhat heard this, but
imagine
I answered Bianca's questions for her.
But wait, imagine if she did that to a younger student. Like early
traumatizing.
teens.
It would ruin them.
It's awful for me as an adult, but for a child, that would be even worse. So teachers, please have some sympathy. Do you have a story, Becca?
Well, we started talking about tampons and stuff, and you totally reminded me that I didn't put a tampon in until I was 17 years old. And
yeah, okay, Bianca.
Well, I was afraid of putting in a tampon, as that is the weirdest thing literally ever. It's just a weird idea, and it's so normalized.
It's confusing.
And it's confusing for a little kid, but it's so normalized. So I remember I almost had a panic attack at competition. I got my period an hour before I was about to be on stage. And I only wore pads. My mom and everyone was like, you have to put in a tampon. And it was the scariest thing ever because I didn't know how to do it.
It is scary.
And I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I never learned how to do it until I was 17 years old because I felt like I had to. I keep hitting the microphone. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you didn't want to wear a tampon?
No, the idea scared me. I remember my dance team, my high school dance teacher, like at my school, like gave me like a step-by-step tutorial one day, like in front of everyone during dance class. And I went in the bathroom for like 20 minutes and tried to do it. And I still couldn't do it.
Why would they do that in front of everybody though?
No, I mean,
was it like an actual?
That's not what it's about. Yeah, I mean, I was fine with it. I just like really wanted to know how to do it. And she's like, I'll tell you. And I feel like no one ever does it. Like no one ever helps you.
Yeah.
My sister literally offered to do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I first put a tampon in, I was afraid of taking it out because it hurt. And I remember I was crying in the bathroom. My sister had to come in and take it out for me because it was painful.
I didn't know.
Stink.
I didn't know that you couldn't take it out right away. The first time I used one was in college. And I tried to take it out because I didn't like it. And I was like, it's not coming out. And I was like, oh, because it's dry and I have to wait.
Hurts.
Yeah, and it does hurt. It feels weird.
I just remember how traumatizing. I mean, now I do it and it's like, it's so normal to me now. But I remember how traumatized and scared I was when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And I felt like as a dancer, I had to do this because I was repeatedly told.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Lexi?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any like crazy story the way that you guys do, but I do remember it was like freshman year of high school, and that was when they started like making sure that we always wore leotards and tights to ballet class. Like it really wasn't like a thing at my studio until I was a freshman in high school because we got like a new ballet teacher and she was like, this is what I want. Yeah, it just became more strict. And at that time I was still wearing pads, and like pads are hard to dance in regardless. They shift because you're bending, you're all over the place, like you're dancing and like you're getting sweaty, like, you know, like they're just moving all over the place. Yeah. So, and it would also kind of like show because the leotard, like it doesn't stay in place. It's going to start sliding out. Sometimes you can see it through your tights. Like I just felt like I needed to start wearing tampons. And like, I remember the first time I put it in, I like couldn't do it, and I've put it in multiple times before. It's like fallen out, like I just couldn't do it, and then I finally figured it out. But it's just the fact that it's like I felt like I could not wear one to dance because I was like, oh, it's gonna show, like that's so embarrassing. I need to like. It's just I don't know.
Yeah,
but that like it's because of dance why I started wearing tampons.
Yeah, it's a whole topic about even like hygiene as a dancer, which you talk about a lot too. But like shaving or like specific underwear, whether you wear it or not, like there's so many things where it's like you have to do this as a dancer. I used to get bullied, like I got bullied out of wearing underwear under my leotards.
I was just about to bring that up.
Because I used to wear
that's another story where like they don't want you to wear underwear.
Used to wear like
I always will
butt underwear, like not a thong, but underwear under my leotard.
I need to wear underwear.
Tights.
I like it. I feel more comfortable.
I think it's a personal preference. I know a lot of dancers,
especially when you're on your period. Why?
Yes.
Like,
right.
What are you going to do?
But
why do you want the tights touching you?
Yeah. But the argument that I hear a lot is usually when it's a performance, they don't wear it. I still do.
I still do too.
It'll be like
so unhygienic.
It'll be like a skin colored thong, you know, like I'm not going to wear a hot pink, like brief. You're smart about it, but there's ways to do it. There's thinner straps on the side. You can pull it up.
There's dance underwear. There's dance bras. Like there's dance everything, you know?
It's just, or even Spanx, but it's like just a little bit of coverage. It's necessary for some people, right?
Especially with all these quick changes. And like, this is, I guess, regarding competition specifically, you're changing in a giant not an auditorium, what's
a huge dressing room, ballroom,
whatever,
ballroom, or like a basketball. Oh my gosh, like basketball court. You know, like how they have,
just
they have
big
like
stations,
just like big areas where it's like there's probably at least 7 other studios. All these people changing, moms walking in, sometimes dads walking in. Like I don't want to not be wearing underwear when I'm changing.
Of course,
sometimes some dancers don't have tights. Sometimes you have to change to pink tights to fishnets. Like quick changes. I want you to have underwear on. Like period.
We could do a whole episode about this because some dancers are so open about their bodies, others aren't, and there's like a stereotype where like you should be open, you should be okay with like getting completely naked in front of your other dance members.
It took me a long time to get to that point.
It took me a long time too.
I still don't. I just think it's personal preference. Once again, like whatever you're comfortable with, that's that. Like you don't need to be pushed into doing things.
Right.
Like if your teacher's like, you have to do this, tell your parent and talk to them about it because your personal boundaries shouldn't be pushed. End of the day. It's just dancers are always told to go above and beyond and to be okay with so many things.
Like my concussion story last episode.
Yeah, but it's like, how about we let the dancers have a say for themselves? Because
and if you don't feel comfortable, if they're putting you in a position that you don't feel comfortable in, there's so many other dance studios out there.
Right.
There's so many other dance studios out there.
If you don't
find one that understands,
and find somewhere you will.
Right.
It's not worth the toxicity.
Right.
Your time is valuable.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the underwear thing, it's like,
yeah, not fun.
No.
And like the bras under the leotard.
Yeah. That's another thing. And then like pasties.
Right. That's a whole nother topic.
We could literally do an entire episode about it.
Yeah, I know. Bringing it back to periods though. For me, at least, has there ever been a time where like you had a performance coming up and you got your period? Because that happened to me. I was performing. I think I mentioned that I like danced in the Disney parade. I don't know if I said that in one of the episodes. I think I did say that. Yeah. So this was the second time, and we were wearing. It's Christmas time, so we had this like white
Disney
costume.
Parade? Was that in Florida? Sorry.
Yeah, it was in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys traveled to Florida to do it?
Mm-hmm. It was super fun.
That's impressive.
Yeah. It just really stunk, especially having a white costume. And not wearing tampons at that time, because it was like there was no way around it, especially in that situation, because there was like multiple hours that I was away from a bathroom, and like, what if I bled through? Like, what am I supposed to do? You know, like a white costume, like that's so painful. But yeah, did you guys ever have any experiences period before a performance?
Well, I told that one earlier about me not putting in a tampon is right before a performance. I just put a pad in, but as I said, I was light, so it wasn't really a problem.
Yeah.
But what about you?
I've gotten my period before many performances, and I mean the stories are just, they're on my TikTok, but I just always found a way to make it work with a pad.
You have to.
Yeah.
Like you have to make it work because it's just something that girls have to live with.
And so you find a way to do it, you know, and whether the costume is white or not, you just make it work. You double up, you find different absorbencies, you know, like there's just different ways to go about it. But it's important to be educated so that you know what to do.
Yes.
So what would you guys' advice be if a dancer has a period malfunction or something during class, and specifically it is a male teacher?
That's a good question.
Because I had something happen to me a few weeks ago, and luckily I was really close with this teacher.
Right.
I literally just left the class, and then I came back. I'll just tell you the story. I was in a class with this teacher. It was gyrokinesis. He was teaching it. And
is this like a dance class, or you're learning about dance?
No, it was a dance. Gyrokinesis is like a movement class.
Okay, cool.
So it was a dance class, and I, as you know, don't get heavy periods until recently. I was wearing hot pink leggings, and I feel something. I go to the bathroom, and I'm like fully bled through everything.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I can't do this right now. I walked back into the room, grabbed my keys and my phone, walked down, and on the way out he was like, Becca, where are you going? And I was like, oh, I'll be right back, like whatever. Literally left the entire class, went home, changed. Like I live like close to campus.
Oh my god, I forgot this was college, and I was like, you just left?
No,
like I was like thinking in high school, I was like, you could just walk out.
I literally left, and then I came back because I had to grab my stuff, and I just finished the rest of the class, and he was like, what happened? And I was like, oh, just lady stuff. But it's like, what do you say to a teacher?
Right.
I've had to say really personal stuff. Like I get UTIs a lot. I've had to tell male teachers that I have them because
they won't believe you if you don't tell them.
Well, no, but it's so awkward. Like I don't mind. I could go up to any of my female teachers and be like, I have a UTI right now. I have to sit out of class.
Because they've been there. They get it. But it's hard because like a male teacher doesn't really understand.
That one of them didn't even know what I was talking about. They thought I like told them something else, and they were like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, like, they don't get it. But I think in the past couple of years, they're starting to a little bit more because in the past couple of years, periods have been more normalized.
Yeah, that's true.
We have a long way to go, but I think that it's just better to be honest and real and upfront. Like just say it how it is. Like
absolutely,
I just got my period, and they're not going to turn you down if you say period.
They can't.
Oh, they're going to be.
I mean, yours can. No, but your teacher could apparently.
Male teachers
That's true.
that I had to ask to go to the bathroom, one of them did let me. One time. Yeah, he was like, "Yep, go."
It's funny because sometimes the male teachers, like, they get so awkward they don't know how to answer it, so they're just like, whatever, whatever you gotta do.
And it's not that I want them to feel awkward, but
no, I know it's just funny.
It is funny, but like, you know, you can just say, I got my period. I need to go fix it. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
And that's that. You don't have to say like, oh, I'm not feeling good. Like, just be honest because that'll normalize it more. And
I've
that'll
had to
make
leave class so many times because of it.
It'll make it more widely accepted. And that's what we want. We want.
Do you guys have any like tips and tricks on how to like cover your period? Like you said, you wear a skirt.
So here's the thing. We could do like a little mini dance period bag kind of segment right now. Mini series right here.
Okay.
So
what to put in your dance bag for
Periods.
lady edition.
Yeah. So whether you are menstruating or not, I think it's great to have a couple options for the dancers around you who might be. So
who might have forgotten their little period handy bag and they would thank you so much.
Exactly. So a couple pads, a couple tampons, and that's it. You know, maybe some ibuprofen.
You might want to pack another pair of underwear,
Mm-hmm.
one or two, just to have that in there. Maybe another pair of shorts.
Tights.
Yep.
And having another pair of shorts, that can also be lent to another dancer that if they bled through, they would be so grateful that you had those in your bag.
Anything that's from the hips down is important.
Yes.
So yes, tights, leotards, shorts, all of that. And then the underwear and the feminine products.
Yes.
The underwear is the worst when you bleed through your underwear and you're just like sitting in like period. So
You know what's awesome though that I've noticed in a lot of like women's bathrooms, the little baskets full of like all the menstrual products, and I've noticed that
they should
more.
have that at a dance studio.
They should have that at every dance studio.
Yep.
Like I just think that that's
sure some
awesome.
do.
I know, I'm sure that some do, but I think that it's like amazing.
Yeah.
That's a thing. Like I love it.
One more thing is that I get a lot of comments because I post the period videos on my TikTok. They'll say like, how do you deal with it when you're on your period? Like, do you wear warm-ups? Feel free to wear warm-ups if you're able to at your studio. I think that's a great way to get around the tampon thing.
Any studio aside from Bianca's, apparently.
You can be comfortable while you're on your period, wearing what you want and still being able to take class because that's how it should be. You should just be able to wear what you want and that's that.
Absolutely. I know it's hard having your period as a dancer, and I've seen, especially like me being a dance teacher, I've seen like, you know, girls going through puberty, like they're going through it. They come to class for the first time. They have cramps. It's hard. It's embarrassing because you don't realize that it's happening to everyone around you. You think it's just you, but it is so normal. Please, you can literally come to any other girl who's experienced it. Like we're all going through it. We all have our periods and we're all stuck with them for many, many years. It's something that we have to deal with, but we're dealing with it together.
Yeah.
So never be ashamed, never be embarrassed.
The more
to
you
ask
talk
for
about
help.
it, the more comfortable it's going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So anybody who menstruates, it's normal. You're normal.
Yes.
Normalize it. Speak it. Speak your truth.
Yeah,
Just
it's not
let
fun,
it.
but we're in this together.
Just let it be known. Period.
And with that said, I think we are done with today's episode.
Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope that this was informative and gave you some fun tips and helpful tricks.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening
to our channel on YouTube.
And
Rate
Spotify.
us on Spotify and Apple Music.
And we hope you come back and listen again in 2 weeks.
Yes. See you then.
Period.
Period. Bye.